So today's session will be gentle hips, gentle core, activation and release. So for today's class, we'll have two foam blocks. They're just there as an option to support you. I like to have a cushion to sit on when I'm in seated, and a strap or a rope tie towards the end if you choose. So starting to find a comfortable seat, which is kind of an oxymoron, but sitting up nice and tall. And I like to take a moment just to pull the glutes back and away. And they say imagine you had a tail. So if you had a tail at the end of your tailbone, you don't want to be sitting on your tail. So you kind of pull out your tail as if you're not sitting on it anymore. And sometimes to assist in that, I would sit on the edge of a cushion and just let my hips come down and off. And then just to switch up things, switch your legs. Sitting up nice and tall. So find your tall seat, level the chin out. Closing the eyes if it feels okay for you to do so. And finding that breath. See if you can allow the legs to soften. And if you find your knees are up in the air and you want a little extra support, sometimes you can call on these blocks if your knees can meet them somewhere. I like to kind of stick them right under the knees, kind of on an angle. See if you can release the legs into the block. We'll just stay here for a couple minutes, finding that breath. So inhaling through the nose, filling up the belly, allowing the chest to expand, ribs to expand. Exhale, the chest comes down and the belly button starts to come in. When it comes to core activation or core rehabilitation, the most important thing besides posture is breath. So finding that full breath, allowing the breath to come all the way down to the belly and allowing the exhale to come all the way out. So not rushing that exhale. It's at the very end of that exhale, if you continue to push air out just a little bit more, you'll find a bit of gentle activation. And that's where we'll start to invite movement in. It's at the end of that exhale. So just keeping that in mind as we go through class, anything that's tricky or the harder part of a pose, we use that exhale to bring in a little more power. If you're like me and you like a little bit of movement, a little less stillness, bring in the neck. So drop the right ear to the right shoulder. As you exhale, circle the head down and around, bring it to the other side. And just see how that feels. The neck is very delicate, it's very personal. Listen to your body with your neck and just move how you feel you need to move. Gently relaxing those shoulders down as you move from side to side, nice and slowly. And as we go through class, continuing to keep that slow pace, listening to your body first. Taking only the options that suit you today. If something doesn't feel right or you simply don't want to do it, then just pause and wait for the next offering. Trusting that you know your body best. And just taking the head from side to side in an upright position here. Tipping it to one side and the other. Staying with that breath. As your head comes back up to center, gently tilting the head up towards the ceiling, so not all the way up to the ceiling. Just a gentle stretch of the front of the neck. And we'll try that 3 times, so bring it back to neutral, chin level to the ground. Still leaning back, still sitting tall. Again, reaching the chin forward. See if you can breathe into the front of the neck. The front of the neck can be a really vulnerable place. So just gently moving into this within your comfort zone. Back to level. And once more. So with all the poses we do, we're not pushing it to the limit. We're finding that soft spot right before the limit, somewhere you can relax and breathe in. Back to center. I'm going to remove the blocks for a moment if you use them. Just place them back at the front of the mat. And we'll just do a couple gentle side stretches. The right arm comes up and over. I'm just going from side to side at a pace that serves your body. See if you can breathe into the side body before you come to the other side. Perhaps gazing up at the ceiling once more on each side. All right, take it back up to center. Gently bring yourselves down onto your mat. So lower your body down, feet stay on the mat, knees bent. And slowly make your way down. Take a moment to slide those shoulder blades down and back. So creating some space for the neck, some length there. I'm going to walk my feet as wide as the mat and just start to bring my knees from side to side. Still breathing here as the body connects with the mat, feeling nice and heavy and supported. You can have your arms out to a T, invite a little bit of opening in the chest. How far apart you have your feet is completely up to you. You might like them a little further apart. Going with your full range of motion here. So whatever that is for your body, perhaps the knees touch the ground, maybe they don't, but see if you can relax them to one side, then take it to the other side. Bring it back to center when you're ready. Bring the knees into the chest and give them a squeeze. Forehead up towards the knees. Exhale, release the shoulders back down, head to the ground, and gently stir the knees. So I have a hand on each knee, and I'm stirring the knees open. You can feel the pelvis rocking back and forth as you do this. So as the knees come into the chest, pelvis comes up, knees come away, tailbone comes towards the ground. Switch to the direction of the circle. Just warming up the hips. Once more, we'll bring them back to center. Clasp around just the right knee this time and extend that left leg away from you. See if you can allow that leg that's extended away, the left leg, if you can soften it on the ground. Not always an easy feat. Gently release that knee just so that your arms are nice and straight and the tailbone is touching the ground or somewhere over there. We just don't want to be in a place where the tailbone's up, the hips are up, everything's squeezing in. Just try to find a bit of a relaxation in this pose. We're going to gently bring that right knee over to the right, towards the right underarm. Just see how that feels. You're anchoring through the opposite heel. Take a nice big breath here. Exhale, bring it back to center. Switch sides when you're ready. Bring that left knee in. Extend the right leg long. I always like to warm up the hips before we start to move into class. Hold here for a breath. Allow the hips to be settled onto the mat if you can. And notice where your chin is. We don't want it too tucked. Nice big breath. Start to open the knee to the left. And then take a nice deep breath into the groin, to the inner thighs. See if you can feel a little bit of tension there. Breathe in to soften. Where you find a stretch in class is not right or wrong. Wherever you find it is unique to your body. So if I'm stretching a certain thing and you don't feel that thing, that's okay. You may not feel the stretch in your inner thigh. Exhale, bring it back to center. We're going to place both feet on the mat, come into a little more activation here, into bridge rolls. Heels are close enough to the sit bones that you can touch them with your fingertips if you reach back. Knees are in line with the hip bones. Take a nice big inhale, press the tailbone down to the mat, kind of expand through the chest. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone up, press into the heels, lift the hips up. If you start to find any tension in your knees, just walk the heels away from your body a little bit more. If you start to feel tension in your lower back, widen the feet a little bit more. As you inhale, release the hips back down nice and slowly. Use control here. Let the sit bones touch the ground. When you're ready to exhale, tailbone tucks under, lift the hips and squeeze. So starting off small, and perhaps as you move into it, you can get a little bit more of a opening there through the chest, a little bit more of a lift through the hips, but just listening to your body and slowly progressing. Use that exhale. Keep that exhale going at the top. You might feel your belly button tighten up at the end of that exhale. We're holding that. And when the inhale comes, then lower back down. As you exhale, tailbone tucks under and lift. So following your breath's pace, adjusting your feet to what feels appropriate for your body today. We'll go for 3 more, starting to build up a little bit of energy. Sometimes I have to lower my hips and reset my breath. Remember to inhale as you're down and exhale as you lift. Going for one more if you have it in you. Take a moment to release the hips. Inhale, soften the belly. Exhale, start to engage the core. Keep that exhale moving. Holding this one at the top. Inviting in a few pulses if you'd like to join along. So your hips are high. You're going to lower your hips 2 inches, soften the bum cheeks, soften the glutes. Exhale, squeeze. 2 more, soften the glutes. Exhale, squeeze. Soften the glutes. Exhale, squeeze. Release the hips back down. Take the knees into the chest and give them a squeeze, gently rocking from side to side. Massaging out the tops of the hips. When you're ready, we'll come into another core exercise. So bring the shins parallel to the ceiling, what is sometimes called dead bug. Shimmy the hips away from you, so create a little space in the spine. Shoulder blades down. All right, arms come reaching to the ceiling, but shoulders are plugged in. Activate the feet so the legs are strong. Nice. If a gust of wind came, it wouldn't knock you down. So you're feeling nice and stable here. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but we're trying. When you're ready, right arm comes above the head and left heel drops down. When you're ready to exhale, squeeze it back in. So exhale with pursed lips, squeeze it back to neutral position. Switch sides. Exhale, squeeze it back in. Using that exhale is going to activate those deep core muscles here. Slow and steady. Using control. Making note of how stable the standing arm and leg are, the ones that aren't moving. See if you can keep them still. It's harder than it looks, I have to say. If you're really activating, you're really following that breath, and you're really using your core, it's not easy. Go for one more on each side if you're ready. Knowing you can stop anything we do at any time, of course. Don't push it. Last one. Ooh. Release the legs and the arms above head. Legs come down to the mat. Take a nice big stretch overhead. Point the toes. Going to take the right leg over to the right a little bit. Cross the left ankle over the right. Going to grab onto your left wrist with your right hand. And gently pull that arm open to the right. So we're coming into banana asana. Like a long banana. Not super arched, but breathing into the rib cage here. Let the belly expand as you inhale. See if you can let the belly come big. Take for one more breath. Soften the shoulders. Exhale, bring it to the other side. So I'm going to open the left leg over to the left. Right ankle's going to cross over. And then I'm going to grab onto my right wrist this time and gently guide it over to the left. So just using that grasp to create a bit of an opening. Again, not the most opening you can find or not the most tension, but somewhere in the middle. Take a nice big breath. Soften through the hips. Stay for 2 more breaths. When you finish, bring it back to center. Uncross the legs. Gently roll onto your right side. Coming into another core activation here. You can lay your head on the mat. You can support the head on the arm. Or you can have the bottom arm kind of a level 2 here would be reached out in front of you. Yeah? So option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is not exerting too much. A little bit safe, more safe. Not safe. What is the word here? Less activation. Okay? Nice big inhale. Option 1, exhale, will be lifting the top leg. So if you're just doing the legs, then maybe you want to support your head and your arm. And we're activating and exhaling. Option 2, if you're feeling like you have a bit more energy, take that top arm over your head. Engage the bottom arm on the mat. When you're ready to exhale, and we're not trying to touch the leg as we come up, but just activating. So you're pressing into the shoulder. Inhale, soften all the way back down. Going for 5, whichever way you choose, nice and slow. Exhale as you come up. Not about how high you can come up. Just find that exhale and find that activation. Exhaling through pursed lips just to get a little more activation. Going for 1 more. Release back down for a moment here. I'm going to relax my head and my hand this time for a little more support. And we'll just play along here. Top arms, scented fingers on the ground just to support you. A little more balance. Open up the legs and close. Open the other way and close. And perhaps you're just moving a couple inches and you're doing tiny ones, and that's okay. Perhaps you have a little more balance today. As we know, balance is different every day. Breathing here. Try for 1 more on each side. 1 more in each direction. Whew. Breathe and release. Come to roll onto your stomach. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Inhale for cobra. Reach those toes back and away. Exhale, lower down. Go for 1 more. Inhale, reaching forward with the crown of the head, back with the toes. Activating the back body. Shoulder blades are down the spine. Inhale, soften back to the mat. Let's try that series on the other side. So I'm going to just roll to your other side. I'm going to switch sides here. Come to rest on your side. So you're choosing the same option as you did the other side. So option 1, support the head and the hand. Activate the hip. Up and down 5 times with control, exhaling to lift. Option 2, bottom arm's out in front of me. I'm going to place my head on the ground. Top arm comes over the ear. And you're ready to activate. Exhale. See if you can hold, whichever option you choose, hold the exhale, hold the lift for the rest of that exhale. Let all the air come out till you feel your belly button tighten up. Of course, your belly button's not actually doing the tightening, but you know what I mean. The general area. Transverse abdominis, the deep core layers are activating. Last one, your 5th one. Release it back down. Support the head and the hand if you weren't already. Gently lift the legs off the ground. So that might be option 1 actually, is just a little lift. Whew, and breathe. Option 2 is a bit of a scissor. Keep breathing here. Little exhales on the hard part. Try one more for each side. Whew. Oh, release that. Come back to the stomach. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, peel up, baby cobra, top of the feet on the mat. Exhale, press into your hands. Find your child's pose or your lazy puppy. So either the sit bones come towards the heels, or if that's not comfortable for your knees or hips, arms come out in front. We just bow the chest forward. Hips can stay high. So finding what suits your body best here and finding that posture. Take a nice big breath here. Perhaps the forehead comes to the ground or to the hands. Nice big breath here. I'm going to walk those hands over to the right, taking another side body stretch. And walk them over to the other side or slide them over. Back to center, inviting a little more movement now. So we're going to find your downward facing dog. Send those hips up nice and high. Stretch them back. Pedaling out one foot and then the other. Bending the knees, stepping to the top of the mat. One step and another. Inhale, halfway lift. Find your flat back. So the legs are straight, knees aren't locked out. Exhale, bend the knees, lean forward. So forward fold, soft bend to the knees. Try that again. Inhale, halfway lift, straighten the legs. Gazing at the top of your mat, shoulder blades down the spine, nice strong back body. Exhale as you fold forward, soften the knees, let them bend, hang forward. One more time like that. I know I just said one more time, but one more time again. Halfway up. Activate those shoulders, shoulder blades back, gaze at the top of the mat. And then bend the knees, fold forward. Activate the glutes here. So as if you're sitting up in a squat and then reach all the way up, rooting through the heels. Arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring them down to the chest. Let's come into a little flow. We've got the blocks at the top of the mat, and you'll be standing at the top of the mat as well. Inhale, reach it all the way up. Exhale, dive forwards with that strong back, straight legs. Dive forward until you can't dive anymore, then bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Straight legs, straight back. Exhale, fold, soft knees, soft back. Fingertips to the mat. Take a nice big step with your right foot all the way back, finding your low lunge. We'll drop that knee. And here is a really nice place for blocks. I'm going to have a block in each hand. I'm going to scooch my toes forward so my knee isn't coming past my ankle. And I'm even going to slide my back knee forward a little bit just to slide off the skin, slide off the kneecap. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ear, so kind of pressing away those shoulders. And then finally, I'm going to actively release in the groin area. So I'm going to try to soften in there while I hold this position. Building a bit of endurance and stillness. Knowing it's okay to be uncomfortable, but if you feel any pain, come out of the pose or adjust the pose for your body. You can always take a smaller stance in this pose so your legs can be closer together, and you can always have higher blocks. If your hips are a little tighter, you might be somewhere over here. Okay, I'm going to shift the hips back, straighten the front leg. Hamstring stretch. I'm going to make my blocks taller because I have very tight hamstrings. Nice big breath here. Option as always to walk those blocks forward and take a little bow forward. Woo. Nice big breath. Hold for one more. See if you can soften the kneecap here. Then we'll walk it back into that low lunge. Gently shift those hips forward. Open up to the chest. Relax the shoulders. Okay, if you're using blocks, just place them back at the top of the mat, fingertips to the mat, and then send that front leg back. So coming into a low plank position. And I'm going to bring the shoulders over the hands, wrap those elbows close to the body, exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, find your downward facing dog. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Reach the sit bones up to the ceiling and bend the knees softly. Think about actively pressing the chest towards the thighs. Something to think about. Maybe nothing happens. Gaze forward, bend the knees. This time step with the opposite foot you stepped with last time. So thinking about alternating each time. And halfway lift. Straighten the legs, straighten the back. Exhale, fold, soften the knees, soften the back. Sit back into those sit bones, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down through center. Inhale, same thing, other side, reach it up. Exhale, dive forward. Halfway lift, nice flat back, gaze at the top of your mat. Exhale, fold, soften the knees, soften the back, fingertips to the ground. Step back with your left foot this time. Low lunge on the other side. Use those blocks, they're there for support to help get a little bit of extra stretch, extra release by softening. Open up to the chest, relax the shoulders. Nice big breath here. Even softening the corners of your lips, softening the cheeks. Oh, and you're ready to exhale, send the hips back, straighten the front leg. Where you choose to have the blocks is up to you. If you're feeling really tight, have them closer to your hips. If you're feeling like stretching a little bit more, walk them closer to your ankles. Gently bow forward. Soften the kneecap here. Wherever you choose to be, let it be somewhere you can hold for 2 breaths. Exhale, let the hips come forward once more. Find your low lunge position again. The low lunge that's appropriate for your body. So make those adjustments. It takes practice to get that back angle, especially in tighter hips. All right, release the blocks. Send the leg back. Shoulders over the hands. Exhale, nice and slowly lower down. Inhale for cobra. Reach those toes back. Reach forward with the crown of the head. So find length. How long can you get here? Exhale, lower down. Let's try that one more time. Inhale for baby cobra. Gazing down at the mat in front of you. Exhale, lower. Press into the mat. Tuck your toes. Find your downward facing dog. So come through down or child's pose if you like. Send the hips back. Send the hands back a little bit. And then lift it. Gaze forward, bend the knees, step to the top, opposite foot this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands down through center. Coming into a standing balance in our next flow. Inhale, bring the arms all the way up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Right leg back. Find your high lunge position. Sweep those arms up. Nice. Gently tucking the tailbone under. So instead of sticking the bum back, just find a gentle scoop with the tailbone. As you exhale those hands down along your sides, we're going to tuck the tailbone under just a little bit more. And as you inhale, send the tailbone back, straighten through the back leg, arms come up. With the standing crunch, exhale, inhale. So finding that standing activation of the lower core. As you exhale, bring those elbows in, tuck the tailbone under. Hold for that exhale until it all comes out. Inhale, open up. Shift your weight forward into your front foot. As you exhale, the back knee is going to step all the way up to the top. You can bring those arms in the same position. Exhale. Inhale, send it back. If that's too much for your balance today, continue with those standing crunches. Otherwise, we're going to come into two more when you're ready. Exhale, shift your weight forward. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, last one here. Step that knee through. Hold that knee with both hands at the top. Find your balance here. Relax the shoulders. Stay for a breath. Standing nice and tall. Now we're slowly going to send this leg back and hold on to its ankle. You can take your back arm and just grab onto the other arm. Your back hand, grab onto the other wrist. Holding here. Okay. Gently release that ankle, but keep the leg up. So this is kind of takes a bit of grace here. Releasing the ankle, holding the leg by itself, step it back into that high lunge. Exhale, bring both hands forward. You're going to step back into high plank. Press back through the heels, lower the hips, activate the shoulders. Gaze at the top of your mat, hold for one more breath. You'll lean into the left arm and allow the heels to come over to the left, finding a side plank. If this isn't appropriate, drop the left knee. Come into the side plank on the left knee. Bring the arm back to center. If the knee is down, lift it back up. Try the other side. So if you know you need a little more help, drop that knee first. Come into the right arm. Come back to center. Finding that full plank again, nice straight leg, and then option to drop the knees. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's try that sequence on the other side. Step to the top. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, come to standing. Hands down through center. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, dive forward. Halfway lift, nice strong back. Exhale, soften forward, bend the knees. Left leg back this time, find your high lunge. Where should I go? I'll go this way. Arms up. So we'll start with 3 of those standing crunches. So arms up, send the back leg nice and straight. And as you exhale, bring the elbows in. Tuck the tailbone under slightly. Inhale for 3 of those at your own pace. Nice, strong front foot. I wonder how loud this breath is. I'm using earbuds. We'll find out soon. Exhale. You can either continue with those, option 1. Option 2 is going to be stepping the knee through. Inhale up. Exhale, shift the weight forward. So come high, almost back toes. Exhale, step it through. And if you need to take 2 steps to step it through, that's okay too. You can take a little hop and then the other one. Inhale, step it back. Nice and strong, gazing forward, finding something that's not moving and fixing your gaze to it. Last one, slow and steady. Holding this one at the top, so everybody joining in here. Grabbing onto that ankle, gently releasing the knee down. If you'd like to do something with the other arm, you can hang onto your opposite wrist from behind the back. Relaxing shoulders down, finding balance. Some days it just can't be found, and if that's you today, just let it go. Or hold onto the wall. Okay, gently releasing this ankle, but don't let the leg fall. Step it all the way back. Arms sweep up. Exhale, hands come forward. Step back, high plank. Find that nice, strong high plank. Last one. Shoulders are strong. They're pressing away. So you're almost pressing the mat away from you. Heels reach back. Hips lower down slightly. Breathing. Okay, option 1s will drop the right knee down. Lean into the right hand. Find your side plank. Option 2s will just shift the heels over to the right and find your side plank this way. Take a nice big breath here. Reach those hips away from you. Exhale, bring the arms down. Shift to center. Choose your option on the other side. Option 1s, drop the left knee, lean into the left arm. Option 2s, heels come over to the left, reach in the left arm. Active shoulders here. Back to center. Knees to center. Drop the knees, child's pose. Stretch it back. Okay, coming into a seated position on your mat. We finished the work part. You've got your blocks nearby if you'd like to use them. We'll start by extending the right leg out in front of you. Also, the strap is an option. Right leg out in front of you. You can stay here with your left foot bent. You can also, option 2 would be to cross that knee over your knee. And perhaps this left heel comes up by the hip a little bit. I'm going to send the meaty part of my sit bones back again so I can untuck my tailbone. Ah, the blocks, I can't reach them. You have the blocks there if you need them. Not if you need them, they're nice to use. So you can lean into them. As you come forward, another option is to use your strap. And sit up tall. So we're stretching the bottom hamstring here, the leg that's on the bottom. Finding a place where you can perhaps relax forward or otherwise sit up nice and tall and breathe. We'll stay for a few breaths here. This is a good place to soften the face, keep your thoughts light. Sometimes these hamstring stretches can take us to a place of defeat. Relaxing the eyebrows, relaxing the eyes. Sitting up tall here. So whether your knee is crossed over or whether it's tucked in here, either way, or maybe you have it this way, we're just going to wrap the opposite arm around it. So around the knee and come into a gentle twist here. I'm going to lean back and stretch that back arm behind me. Just a bit of a twist. So we're stretching out the obliques, lengthening. Relax the shoulders and take it back to center. I'm going to bend the knee of the bottom foot, coming into that figure 4 stretch. So perhaps your ankle's over your knee. You can make this more challenging or less or a little bit easier on the body. So if you want to make it a little bit easier, slide that bottom foot away, create more space. If you want to increase tension, then you can slide that bottom foot closer and perhaps press the chest closer to the legs. Nice big breath here. And then once you finish with that, uncross the legs, take the legs as wide as your mat, and just gently windshield them from side to side. We'll take that back to center and we'll do the same thing but the other side. So this time the left leg is down. Again, finding that untucking the tailbone, untucking your tail. I'm going to cross my knee over because that feels good for my body. It may not work for yours. Perhaps you want to put the foot on the inner thigh. And then option to either use the strap or a couple of blocks and lean forward. So just listening to your body and finding what feels right. And staying for a couple of breaths. So perhaps hinging forward, perhaps not. Softening through the face, keeping the thoughts nice and light. Or focusing on inhale, exhale. Allowing yourself to stay present for the last few minutes of class. Knowing there's nothing you can do from this position to affect the outside world at this moment. And then we'll move into the twist part. So either keeping the leg like this, if you didn't choose this option, then you can just have the knee up and wrap the opposite arm around. Either way, opposite arm to the knee, gently twisting to the right this time. So twisting towards that knee. Leaning back, relaxing shoulders, nice big breath here. Exhale, bring it back to center. And then finding your figure four stretch. So our last held stretch for the class. Staying for a few breaths. Let the chin come up slightly. Release the front of the neck. And releasing this pose when you're ready. Straightening the legs, gently folding forward, perhaps reaching your toes, perhaps reaching your knees. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Option to take your own Shavasana here, laying on the mat for a few minutes. Otherwise, closing our practice together, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down through center, just pausing between the eyebrows, hinging forward. Closing our practice today. The light in me recognizes the light in you and everybody.